Congratulations for this event, and thank you very much for inviting me. You invited me on a subject I've lived for last decades. You talked to me, you asked me to speak on making the difference. All my life, it's been making the difference. Sometimes from very compelling circumstances. And if I hadn't made the difference, I would have disappeared in many, many ways. So I bring before you a presentation which talks about, let me bring you the first slide. Where does this click here? Where does it click? Where does it take the signal? It takes it from here? Then, all right, we'll make it like this. So where it takes it from here? I brought for you absolutely culled out. You're all practicing leaders, practicing managers, at the top of your careers, making the difference in this country in the world of entrepreneurship, business, corporate affairs, media, in many, many respects. But I have, from my writings, research, trainings, experience, and learnings, I've culled out 5 major practices or ideas which make the difference, which make you a leader, because leader is all about making the difference. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a leader, there would be a follower. Leader means going a different way. It's going, it's knowing, it's showing. That's where the difference is. So the leader has to know more, has to show more, has to go more. So unless the leader knows more and shows and goes, how will it make the difference? So here I have 5 very winning leadership practices, which if practiced well and focused on, you will make the difference and continue to be creative and entrepreneurial. I'm very happy to follow Dr. Shashi Tharoor because he talked about creative leadership. It is, so therefore it's absolutely in alignment to where he's left. I've recently done a wonderful course with nobody other than the management guru, Mr. Ram Charan, very recently in Coimbatore. And it was a delight listening to him. I have also, so I will share with you some of his ideas as I go. It's 6:15 by now. I'll try and finish this presentation in 20 minutes, and we'll try and interact with each other for another 20 minutes before I take off for the flight straight from here. As I said, it's been a life of making the difference. I learned it from my father, from my parents very early on. And if you all go back, we all begin very early. Our attitudes, our beliefs, our convictions, our habits, our character, it starts sprouting when we are small. And the kind of nutrition we are given. This is the kind of nutrition I received as a young girl growing up in the 50s from my parents. And they said, nobody can prevent you from choosing to be exceptional. We were 4 girls in a family which had no boys. We were 4 girls growing up in Amritsar. And this is the way my parents thought. They were far ahead of their time as far as bringing up girls in India was. This is my belief. Do what you can with what you have, wherever you are. We wait for things to happen. We wait for situations to change. But the belief, which I believed as a common citizen, which is absolutely Roosevelt's thinking, is do what you can. That's what I did as a police officer. I did what I could with whatever I had, wherever I was. And I will expand this as I go through, because this is interspersed with some of my personal experiences in my career. Because nobody knows me better than myself. So instead of borrowing another's case study, I thought I will establish it with my own learnings and experience drawn from my prison experience, prison management experience, or policing experience. The first quality, my friends, of being a great winner is how do you stay focused? This is critical. As a habit, and this was endorsed by nobody other than Ram Charan himself. It is about prioritizing what is on your schedule. We have so many distractions today, we have so many other competing priorities, but it's like the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. I think that's the key criterion, is how do you keep the main thing the main thing? And that's the challenge, and that's the training, and that's the learning. It's keeping the focus. Remember the story of the jar, where if you put the rocks first, if you don't keep the rocks first, but put the water in first, or the stand first, the rocks won't go in. Most of our training programs in leadership is, well, put the big things first. Put the rocks in the jar first, then put the sand, and then put the water. And if you put in the water first and the sand first, the rocks wouldn't go in. But if you want to fit in the rocks, the sand, and the jar, in the jar, and the water, then put the rocks first. That's about keeping the focus. Main thing first. This is what I learned. It was a hunger to grow. Now, hunger to grow, friends, is a habit which we all learn early, and that's where, wherever you are, we all come by our hunger. And the quantity of hunger, the appetite, hunger to grow. This was a natural hunger to grow in my life. It was willingness to innovate, change constantly, and go the extra mile. Now, that extra mile, if one acquires as a habit, stays with you as you grow up. It took me to become an Asian tennis champion. This is the way it was, along with academics. It was thus the hunger not to be a sportswoman one day, not to be a tennis coach, not to be a tennis professional, but to grow all round. It was all about hunger. It is about you competing with yourself. Remember, sometimes we think we compete with others. No. The first important understanding of making the difference is, what difference are you making to yourself within? You compete with yourself. And that's what my teachers told me. But while you compete with yourself, most important thing is the moral quotient. Is a high MQ. We talk about the IQ, we talk about the EQ, we don't talk about the MQ. A stage has come even in business today, corporate world, where the moral quotient must come forth. Otherwise, we're all, as you know, we're suffering from the loss of the moral quotient in the past. And it's going to cause a lot of pain and stress as things get unraveled and exposed. So it's when you compete with yourself, remember the MQ is very important, is the moral quotient. Along with the moral quotient is the courage to speak up, courage to take on more challenges. And that, to my mind, has lacked in collective organizations. Courage. If you, collective courage, collective corporate courage, collective service courage, courage to speak up. Friends, unless we have the courage, you can make no difference. You make no difference. I'm giving you an example that this was a courageous decision. I had a choice not to lead the parade in 1975, where I had to practice 25 kilometers of walk in the winters of Delhi, with boots on, with those heavy boots on, with the sword in my hand, practicing on Rajpath for 2 months together to make it flawless on 26 January. Without that practicing courage, you cannot make the difference. And first time a woman led an absolutely historical male parade in India. Actually, in the history of India, there's the first time a woman led a male parade. And it was all nothing but courage. Thank you so much. And the difference it made, today you have more than 300 women in the Indian police service. It's all started from 1975. So friends, courage is very vital. And I urge you, whether it's a media house, whether it's a business house, whether it's the corporate conglomerations, whether it's organizations, it is time to make the difference in India the way India does business. That's vital. And courage to speak up what is not going right and what is going right. Whether you put it across in seminars, I've seen there are many opportunities today coming in the business world where the business corporate leaders have an opportunity to speak up. But I find them ending up basically lauding and hiding more information. That's the time to say, this is all what we need. If you're talking about Make in India or we made in India, it's time to speak up what is holding back to be not made in India, to be not Make in India. Courage is very, very vital today if the business world has to make the difference in India. Reaching out. Life is not always of holding the best cards. I've had assignments, as I told you, which had very few resources. Manpower, technology, resources. I could have given up. Instead of giving up, we found a way out. And this is the way I did during the 9th Asian Games, by which I was the only DCP traffic at that time, and very few, no computers. We used to have a photocopier. We didn't even have a fax machine at that time, and we ran the 9th Asian Games. And that time, with very little manpower, not trained, no technology, what did I do? How did I make the difference? How did I get the city of Delhi ready for the 9th Asian Games? By being on the road every day at 8 o'clock with this microphone in my hand, going around the entire city, around with cranes following me to tell a message that violation will not be tolerated. This is how we made it so visible, by just doing it collectively, by visibility. Friends, it's important that to assess in the kind of situation you are in, that you are determined to make the difference and find the ways. From the first focus quality of leadership which makes a difference is focus. And focus with innovation, focus with problem solving, focus with creativity, focus with courage is the second, is constant self-evaluation. A leader who does not do constant self-evaluation is not fit to lead an organization. A leader who does not do self-audit, and remember, leadership is both personal and professional. You are two sides of the same coin. You cannot be a corrupt person personally, cannot be unethical as a person, and be very sound professional where everybody trusts you. Forget it. Just forget it. There's a merger in the end of the person and the professional. And in self-audit and self-transformational leadership is the one which makes a difference. Others do not. Others do not. Let it be clear. Unless you are one, two sides of the same coin, but there is no difference between the personal moral quotient of the person and the professional, which is why political leadership has let us down in this country. They present personal something else, and they are proven professionally very different. So friends, it's very important that if you are to make the difference, if you want to make the difference, you cannot be different person, and you cannot be different when it comes to value systems, when it comes to character, when it comes to beliefs, when it comes to leading yourself. Walking the talk is by seeing. You want to make the difference? Be more mobile. As I said in my traffic, you've got to be visible. You've got to feel. You've got to touch. You've got to hear. Unless you feel, you touch, you hear, it's a secondary information. Why is the country failing today, or it has failed in the past, is wherever a corporate has failed is being on secondary and third level information. Unless you're going for a direct approach, you've got to do a mix. As a professional, you've got to mix. But unless you're mobile, unless you feel, touch, see, I think you are in for a secondary information. I believe my country, our country can change within the worst 1 year. What Mr. Modi needs to do is just issue one circular. Every bureaucrat will not start the day from the office. Every bureaucrat, every minister will start the day from the field. Which means if you're a hospital minister, you are in a hospital in the morning, any hospital by chance. If you're an education minister and an education secretary or a deputy secretary of education, you start with a school. If you're a police commissioner or a DGP, you start with the police station. If you're an industry ministry, enter any one industry and see what's happening. Is that difficult, friends? Is it difficult? Is it difficult? It's so simple. It costs you nothing. Instead of driving in straight 9 a.m. to the office, drive into any police station, drive into any industry, drive into any school, drive the roads anywhere, go to any municipal office. This could be India's biggest revolution. Just one. I would urge the media to start this campaign. Instead of the officers being driven by Sarkari cars to the office, they are being driven to a police station, to the place of their work, to their actual ground for which they are responsible. If that starts happening, everybody will be punctual, everybody's office will be cleared, things will be dusted, potholes will be filled up, police station will be present, roll calls will be on, and a direct dialogue of seeing, hearing, and feeling will begin. There will be a whole prevention. There will be so much of prevention, friends, walking the work. And that equally applies to make the... Without this walk the talk, without this walking, you cannot make the difference. The next is feedback. You want to do this is the breakfast of anybody. So you want a good breakfast? Feedback is... How do you have systems of feedback? I created these feedbacks in my prison. I'll give you a 10 rupee solution of my feedback. It was a 10 rupee cost. You see this box called the petition box? You see this box? This cost me only 10 rupees. I created these 5-7 boxes. These boxes used to travel around locked box. It used to go to all... Then we didn't have an email. Well, even then, you can't have a prison, have an email. So what do? You have a hardware, you have a box. Prisoners were asked to say, write to me anything you want. The key is with me, I will read what you write. Now the seniors could say, here is my email, write to me anything you want. I will, whether you write as xyz@gmail.com or you write at z, whatever name you want to write to me, tell us what is going wrong. But if you want to make the difference, you will create feedback systems which are confidential, and you're hungry. At the moment, the government is asking for feedback. Now, how is it analyzing that feedback on mygov.in? We do not know. Those results need to be made public, that we got so much information, this is what we've done with it. We need to do that. We need to analyze so that people are encouraged to give you a feedback. This is the way I did with a 10 rupee box. I got it made in my prison factory with 10,000 prisoners and a corrupt staff. How do you think I transformed the prison? With this 10 rupee box called a feedback box. It was locked, the key was with me. Prisoners were regularly told every day, connect with me, write to me, because this prison has to become an ashram. आश्रम बनना है इसको, इसमें मुझे चिट्ठी लिखो, क्योंकि अगर तुम चिट्ठी नहीं लिखोगे तो फिर मुझे मत बोलना कि मैडम करप्शन है या ये मुझे वायलेंस है. I put the onus on the consumer. I put the onus on my client to connect with me. But I lived up to the trust. To see whatever he wrote, I read and I responded. It was a two-way traffic of communication, of a trusting relationship. Friends, as corporates, you want to make the difference? Please encourage feedback. Today we have technology, feedback from customers, feedback from your clients, feedback from your hierarchies. This feedback eliminated corruption from the prison, because I could get so much of information that everybody was scared that the Inspector General of Prison knows more than anybody else. And it was so truthful, you might just say, oh, was there any false information? I'm telling you, friends, it's trusting relationship. I got nothing false in it. I got nothing which wasted my time. It was so valuable that it acted as a prevention, because now people could complain. But the rule was, I was reading this feedback every day, acting upon it, acknowledging it, and then keeping things confidential, which were things changed within weeks of just this feedback box. This is what is needed in every department. Just as every department needs to be out in the field at 9 o'clock. Similarly, feedback boxes, feedback systems, now the use of technology must be encouraged and it must be acknowledged. We need to have not a grievance redressal, a feedback desk where it's analyzed and information, which means whatever is coming in the way of Make in India, whatever is coming in the way of business is reported to the government of India to be addressed. Let's look at the power of listening. We think we can only listen to the elders. or to the seniors. We must learn to listen to our clients, to our juniors, to our team members, if you want to make the difference. I used to do this every day in the morning. 9 o'clock, I used to be in a police station as a deputy commissioner of police. I did 3 districts. I did a range in Mizoram, and I did 2 police districts. Friends, crime fell down by half, just because of visiting police stations, by listening to the constabulary, by listening to the rank and file. And they were the ones who knew more about the grassroots than I did, because they were close to the grassroots level. They exactly knew what crime was happening, brewing where. There was nothing hidden about any crime, by which many criminals had to leave my districts because udhar shelter nahi mil sakta aapko. It is so simple. It costs you nothing. But this is what was listening. Here I'm listening to the Pani Panchayat people. There I was listening to my constabulary. So when at 9 o'clock in the morning, officers go to the field and they start listening to obviously they will listen. They'll get to know what is not right. When they visit a school, they'll get to know there are no toilets. When they go to school, they'll get to know how many children are without a teacher. They'll get to know what subjects are not being taught at all, and children are aspiring to be doctors and engineers, but there are no subjects to make them doctors and engineers. They'll get to know. Rather than asking for reports, it's a direct approach. This is the solution to this country today, nothing else. It costs you nothing, costs you no budget. Feedback and visiting and listening costs you nothing. It costs you your time. It gets you out of a comfort zone every day. Going to the office in the morning, reading a magazine, watching a television, reading newspapers, calling up friends is comfort zone. You don't do that. You do something different. You go to your task first. Friends, this is a software I'm talking about. This software, we are always focusing on hardware, and we're talking about software. This is the real software to make the difference. If internally you are not a good human being, internally if you don't have the moral quotient, internally if you don't want something, internally you don't love it, you don't like it, you will sabotage it. You will axe your own toes, or you'll sabotage somebody else's. I'm talking about this collaborative approach. If you see, it's not just the human software, it's also collaborative. It's collaborative where rank and file is sitting together, and it's possible. And do you know what, friends? This also cost me nothing. This is a Vipassana meditation program where it comes free. It comes free. If you donate even a shawl to the teacher, the teacher does not take the shawl because it doesn't believe in taking any gift back. It's a Vipassana meditation program, purely Indian, inherited from the main teacher who brought it from Burma, called S.N. Goenka, and it's free. They don't charge you anything. You go for other courses, there's an expense. This is free, but it transforms you. This transformed my constabulary, my police officers, hugely during the time when we did this program. We did it in the prison as well. This is making the difference. Where is technical about it? Where's money in it, friends? That's what I told you. I neither had resources, nor did I have money, but I had the human will. I had the ideas, which were not linked with financial resources, but community mobilization and collaboration. We did this program for 1,000 prisoners inside the prison in Tihar jail. The film was made, but it changed them. It made them cry. It made them confess. They went back to one of the Norwegian prisoner who did it, went to the court to say, "My lord, you are charging me for 5 kilograms of heroin. Lekin sir, I had brought in 10 kilograms of heroin." After doing this course, he learned to be free from within. And he said, "Sir," the lawyer said, "Stupid, don't speak out." He said, "I want to get myself free. I want to tell the Lord, you do what you want." But I did bring 10 kilograms of heroin into India. You are charging me for 5 kilograms. Please find out where are the other 5 kilograms. That's what happened with this course. This is what happens. We think this is a waste of time. We think this is post-retirement. If this comes early in life, this comes as youth, this comes in families, friends, India, and this is Indian technology. This is Indian human technology. This is human technology. Today, yoga is being talked about because Mr. Modi talked about it at the United Nations. And very soon you will see yoga, maybe one day in a year, as declared as a yoga day, just as we have Gandhiji's day as a peace day, non-violence day. We could have one day a yoga day. India is rich. India has got all solutions, provided we value them, provided we understand them and respect them and practice them. I did that, and that's what it worked. So I'm talking about self-aware. It's a self-aware which is the true source of leadership. So you talk of hardware, and you talk of software. I talk about self-aware. If we look at self-aware and we develop self-aware, India could lead the world, and it's a fact. We could, provided we go through these kinds of self-aware technologies. My third leadership, which makes the difference, friends. So I've talked to you the first two. The third is never let monotony set in. Play with your people. Play, you must be playing. Play. I play. I play with my NGOs. I play with my children. I played with the prisoners. I played with my students. I was a teacher. I was a lecturer when I started my service before I joined the Indian Police. I play. Break the monotony. Begin. We have the adult, we have the senior, and we have the junior. We have the child, adult, and the senior with us. We have all the three. We have all the three components in ourselves. Sometimes we become a child, sometimes we become an adult, and sometimes become the senior. I think we have all the three components. It's excellent to be true to yourself and break monotony. It makes the difference, friends. It's a very vital quality of leadership. These are some of the pictures of how we did it, as I told you. Fourth quality, friends, is living up to the trust, is very, very vital. Anybody, the basic, many times I've been asked in many interviews, what's one quality you think in a human being you value most? And guess what I say? It is living up to the trust. That is most vital. Living up to the trust as an Indian, as a citizen, as a parent, as an employee, as a leader, as a boss, as a team member, as a relation, living up to the trust. This is the key. And this, unless it's valued, learned, kept, practiced, it doesn't happen. I'm showing you a news clipping of when my young traffic police officer held and challaned Prime Minister's car. This was in August of 1982. Prime Minister's car was challaned. What's the big deal about it? The point is, we were living up to our trust. We are upholders of law as cops. Why should I be scared of carrying forward the law? Why? Why should I be scared? And I'm proud of that officer who did it, because he was empowered to do it. The man had been empowered. He had been empowered to do it. कि किसी को बख्शना नहीं है. This is the law. As a senior, I'm supposed to support you in upholding the law. Go. And he did it. And nothing came to me. Why? Because the DIG was told कि किरण को कहने से कोई फायदा नहीं है. कोई फायदा नहीं है. Because कोई फायदा होना भी नहीं था. Because I'm here to live up to the trust of the people as an enforcer of the law, as an upholder of the law. And sure enough, they paid the fine. Now let me take, this is living up to the trust. This is also living up to the trust, where education programs, where prison was reformed. No resources, friends, all used school books, all prisoners, educated prisoners, made the difference. Educated prisoners taught the uneducated. Books came from used school books. Blackboards were made by the prison factory. I have not spent a penny every day educating 10,000 prisoners. When prisoners came in, many of them were leaving thumb impressions. And when they left, they were writing their name because they had been educated, they had been made literate. No cost to the government. So anything which is free is to be rejected. On the contrary, when you mobilize and collaborate and form coalitions and innovate and be an entrepreneur and human in self-aware, these things happen. Prisoners were educated every year. 2 years constantly, 9 to 11 was a school inside. These are those days when I was with the prisoners. They were learning French, they were learning Persian, they were learning German, etc. So this was making the difference in their lives. these people never came back after committing a crime. It changed their lives. So sometimes some solutions cost nothing. It's just your own mind, your own will, your own compassion, your own empathy. Sorry. Hey, going back, sorry. This is a very vital, this was a drawing done. Ask your organizations to draw for you. Where do they place you as a leader? Ask them, where do they place you? This was drawn so innocuously by one of my prisoner, and see where she placed me. Where did she place me? She placed me right at the top. Organizations do not make leaders friends. It arises out of what you are and what you stand for to make the difference. Am I right? Am I right? May I repeat? Organizations do not make leaders. It arises out of who you are and what you stand for. That makes the difference. That's how prisoners saw me, all the time seeking the right direction. That are we moving the right direction? And see where they stood. And look, all of them are prisoners. Nobody's wasting even a moment. They're all busy. This was the culture. This is the difference it had made in their lives. This is possible by every leader. So it's always possible. And finally, last, the fifth quality of leadership is gratitude. And this is possible. I have two major non-NGOs in India today, covering UP, Punjab, Haryana, and Delhi. We reach out to thousands of children in literacy, women in skills, youth in skills. We are absolutely on skills development for last several years, much before this government woke up or the earlier government woke up. We are into skills development of the poorest of the poor for decades now. And this work had started with me while in service. Friends, you all have a CSR. You all have a corporate social responsibility. Please pay attention to it. You can be the difference. If the CSR is well spent, well invested, well cared for, and rightly targeted, you can be the difference. Your CSR is a very powerful social tool. Do not consider it as a pressure or as a burden. Consider it as an opportunity in nation building. CSR is your very major, important tool to strengthen nation building. This is what gratitude is all about. And this sense of gratitude has stayed with me for the last 26 years. I started these two NGOs 26 years ago. The second one came with the Raman Magsaysay Foundation 20 years ago. The earlier one came as a crime prevention measure when children were begging and selling drugs and women was drug peddling, and I wanted to convert them into better people. So this is some of those pictures of some of my NGOs. I won't expand too long, but I thought I would just share with you sense of gratitude, not just as CSR, but even towards your juniors, towards your relationships, towards your families, towards your friends, towards your house staff, due to which you're comfortably here today. Sense of gratitude, a thank you, a genuine thank you to anybody who's making the difference in your lives. Not only that you making the difference, they making the difference in your lives is a very vital quality of leadership. Friends, this is what, so let me wrap up to say these are the 5 qualities: focused on a higher purpose, constant self-evaluation, never letting monotony set in, living up to the trust, and sense of gratitude. These are the 5 qualities, if you practice, along with many others, are bound to make the difference in others' lives and in your own life. Thank you very much for inviting me here. Thank you. Let's have about 3 questions before I leave. 3 questions. Let's have you. Give him the mic, please, if you have. If any one of you wishes a copy of the presentation, please take it from the organizers.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. It's a great presentation we had, and as you know, I'm connected with you. So, what is your success mantra? I mean, while on your younger days, what was your strength like? I mean, from where did you get the strength to combat all those whatever you had?
Is growing up with courage, growing up with a sense of self-reliance, growing up doing. Unless you do, how do you get confidence? I was a doer. I was a doer and I was into social work from the age of 14. As a student, my parents used to send me to Red Cross and say, go serve the people. I used to bike around the city and go around doing it myself. So it was by doing. By doing, I was going. And doing and going makes you confident. It's by playing. It's by swimming you learn to swim. It's by playing that you learn to win. It's by doing. We delegate the doing. We delegate doing. Sometimes we must do it ourselves. So it's by doing and taking the risks which come along. And at an early age, if you do, you can make mistakes and then learn from it. But in older age, you can't afford. Those mistakes are expensive. So the earlier, younger age, that's why they call probation period. That's why there's schools. That's why it's by doing. Children, we must encourage our children to do.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. It was a brilliant presentation. I am Shujoy, representing Techno India University. My question is, from your presentation, I inferred that your good thoughts led to your good actions, good habits, good character, and good destiny. But and your topic was making a difference. As a police service officer, or as an IS or civil service officer, is it really possible to make a difference as you did, but to continue the difference?
In fact, they are so empowered, public servants and politicians who are in. Every politician today can make the difference, provided they want to make the difference, and not just make them difference for themselves. If they want to make the difference, as I said, just follow this 9 a.m. rule. 9 a.m. rule, instead of going to the office, they go to the field. Public servants, I'm telling you, because they have the power to change. Their order is law. The order issued by a public servant is law. So if he goes at 9 o'clock and looks at his own responsibility, isn't he making the difference? He's learning, he's seeing, he's hearing, and he's encouraging, he's also detecting, he's also preventing. So look at the difference he's making, instead of sitting in the office and asking for a report, which makes no difference.
Do you think that the political
Last one question, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ma'am, we admire your courage and determination, but I see a very contrast between your leadership style and a corporate world, the way corporate world works. In corporate world, it's team, it's systems and processes. Managers don't go at 9 a.m. going around the company. But your presentation is more about I and me. So do you think
there is all
which is more effective? No, I'm not saying I
Let
admire.
me explain to you.
Yeah.
Just
which is more effective, or is it the
go ahead
government
with your
sector
question.
because of that?
Didn't you see that whole Vipassana meditation, 2,000 of us together? It was we. 1 second. It was all we. The gratitude to NGOs, it's all we. It's all we. But I'm talking about the leader making the difference. Leader has to lead. But leader becomes a part of the team. But while leading, he's integral part of the team. So therefore, it is, I believe, there's no difference in the corporate leadership in this. So can the corporate leader be at the shop floor. So can a corporate leader be traveling in a different city. It is the same. It's not different, I can tell you. Having seen this, you just have to believe in this and get out of your comfort zone oftener, because it's very comfortable to go straight to the office. It's air conditioned, particularly when it's very hot. It's very hot, but you go in that heat, and where the real action is, it encourages the people. It gives, when you give a pat on the back of somebody who's doing a difficult job and being on the field, isn't it great?
Thank you.
It is the same. You just have to believe it. Anyone more? I can take 3 more questions before I leave. I still can take 3 more. I'm watching the clock. I want to give you the maximum, please.
Madam, this was a very good presentation and very motivating. I'm sure in your life you also had some failures, some frustrating time. How did you came back? Sometimes when we fail, it brings a lot of fear. So how did you fight back?
What do you call a failure? A failure would be when you never attempted. When you never even attempted to correct a thing. That's a failure. But that never happened in my life. I always attempted. My intention was always sound. I can make a judgmental error, but where was the bad intention? Where was the bad intention? And where was a non-attempt completely? Everything was attempted. Nothing was run away from. To me, that's a failure. When you see a challenge and you run away. I'd never run away. I saw a challenge and found the way out. I may be immature in my judgment in a situation, but I've not failed. I've tried.
Ma'am, it's a great opportunity to meet you and address you. I'm asking a question, not as a manager of Tata Steel, but not also as a son of a senior police official, but I will be asking you as a common man.
Take the mic closer.
Yeah. When the police official will be freed from the control of the bureaucrats, and because since the police officials are being controlled still by the Indian Police Act of 1861, and they are being amended by various state police
Let's
acts.
keep the questions short.
Yeah, I'm asking that when will the police force be freed and given the power to act independently?
They are as free as they are in their mind. They're as free as they're in the mind.
But there are two
Absolutely,
boundaries.
it's all in the mind.
But there are two boundaries that are working.
There is no discussion on this. As I said, every bureaucrat, every leader, every corporate is as free as he's in his mind. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other from this side?
After hearing your speech, I just want to ask you a small question that after all said and done, are there anybody who's going to carry out your legacy?
You don't do this for legacy. You do it because that was your duty to do.
No, but it should
But
be
the point is,
followed.
these are building blocks. They've all built on them. The blocks haven't been broken. Life has changed. In fact, if they needed to alter them, they should have altered them. But the point is, all I'm sharing with you is what was possible. What is possible in sometimes adversity. I'm sure it's carried forward because cranes have stayed away, they never went back. The prison reforms have stayed back, they never went back. So many systems have stayed, many systems have evolved.
But do you think as on today, the torch should be
So
carried
let's
out?
go to the next question. You do not do to see that it's permanent. You do it because that's the right thing to do. What happens to it later is the duty of the successor. If he wants to succeed, he has a right to change, he has a right to change. Like I changed, didn't I?
Hello. Madam, thank you for your excellent presentation. Actually, I'd like to ask you one question is that key. What is your appreciation regarding the governance of the current central government?
What is your appreciation of?
What is your personal appreciation regarding the governance of the current central government? I mean, the quality of the governance and all.
The current government needs you, needs each one of us to be courageous. The current government, the success, can I answer please? The success of the current government is our success. If the current government succeeds, we all succeed. But if the current government fails, we fail miserably. We don't have anybody else after. So, all I'm asking for you is, since I have seen governments for the last 40 years, I've seen governance for 40 years. I've led a very, very hard life. Why should doing good be so hard? Why should making the difference and doing good policing and rule of law be so harsh and hard? And why should you be punished for it? According to external perception, not mine. I don't feel I was punished because unless I punish myself, I don't punish. Right? So the point is, why should it be so hard? Therefore, I would say the change is in the... Why do you think I've come here today? Because I know you are the change. There are two constituencies in India which will change this country and will take it forward where the leadership is asking to go. Is you and the youth. And you are youth too. You are youth plus. Your youth plus business. They are youth at the moment waiting for business. So if we go right and we develop the courage as CIIs, as PhDs, as ASSOCHAMs, as YOs, YPOs, as whatever bodies we have, as Rotarians, whatever organized bodies we have, if we have the courage to tell the government that this is not going right, we need to set it right. And do not give up. So when we are garlanding that same leader whomever, we tell him, this is our demand. This is our demand, please correct it. Because you want this goal, this is the roadmap. Keep giving them ideas, challenging them, because in their change is our change. Let what we suffered 40 years, let our children not suffer the next 40 years. India can change in the next 5 years. India can change this 5 years, just 5 years.
Ma'am, for my presentation, we saw...
Look, for instance, let me give an example. You're all Calcuttans, you're sitting here. Some of you are not from Calcutta. I drove from the airport to this place. And common sense was, I saw the entire flyover, not a single laborer working on it. Such a long stretch of a flyover, not one laborer working on it. And it had all rusted सरिये होते हैं ना? उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Railings, all rusted railings. It's costed us money to build that. It's costed us money. It will cost us double the money to revive it, to correct it. Then I asked myself, if it was my private house, would I have left it abandoned halfway and let it rust? If I had spent my own money, wouldn't I have completed it in time? And make sure that the contractor builds it in time? Because it's my money. Isn't this our money? I tweeted it today. Who will sign the PIL from Calcutta? Calcutta, to ask when will this flyover be done? And why is it lying abandoned? It's a public property, crores have been spent, and it's lying unattended and getting rusted. It's going to decay. To rebuild it is going to cost us double the money. Then again, it will be whose money? So this is what I'm saying. Calcutta, from people from West Bengal, need to raise this voice. File RTIs. When is this? Give us the closure date of this. And why is it not there? And then give a direction and a time limit. This is what I'm saying, talking about. Unless we raise collective voices, we will continue to suffer. Now, last question, please.
Ma'am, from your presentation, we saw that a picture of you playing tennis at a young age and becoming Asian champion. How has playing a competitive sports at such a young age helped you in your career and in your life?
Tennis, how did it help me?
Yes, ma'am.
Without sports, you are half educated.
Thank you, ma'am.
You want to be fully educated? You want to be fully educated? Study and play. You will always break monotony all your life.
As a fellow tennis player, thank you so much.
Thank you very much and all the best. Thank you.